Hi friends, don't forget to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel to get all the updates how to use process improvement methodologies and solve practical business problems. Hi friends, I'll start with this question first. Have you ever experienced this? Say during diagnosis misses out on critical informations, right? So you have a problem in place and you go try to find it out, and when you come back you see that, oh no, you have missed out some informations, right? Also unable to understand who needs what and when they need it, right? I am talking in terms of a process. So you have gone to a process analysis and you are unable to understand who needs what and when they need it. So suppose there is an agent, there is an assistant manager, there is a team lead, right, in a hierarchy, and you are not able to understand or it is confusing that who needs what. Also the problems keep changing, so this happens very often. So you find out that there is one problem which is, suppose the customer is not satisfied, and then you try to diagnose it, then you find that no, that's not the problem, there is some other issues also there, right? Also the problem found is not the actual problem, it always something else, right? Maybe it is very close to it, customer is not satisfied, but that's not the truth. The data says that 8.5 average rating is there and it is reduced by 8, but you see escalations are very high now, so then you assume that no, the customer is not satisfied, maybe, right? We are going to have solutions for all these things by understanding the project selection methodology. How do we select a project for a Six Sigma or Kaizen or any project, even this is applicable to everything, and stakeholder analysis and SIPOC. So let's start. The last sessions we covered was on the project identifications. So today we are on the define stage, and next few sessions we will cover project selection methodology, stakeholder analysis and SIPOC. So what's a project selection methodology, right? So first thing is prioritization, and broadly to say, you will have many problems, like you can have many projects. So problem 1, then problem 2, problem 3, problem 4, like this, and go on, right? It can be from the same process or from different processes. So which one should you select, or within this problem again what should you select, right? Within this, suppose you have subcategory of problems, right, and so on. What should you select? So that's what we are going to learn today. So first is, what is the problem? Find out what is the problems, and if you are not able to understand this, write it down somewhere. Suppose for example we are facing challenges in customer service, or let's take we are facing challenges in customer satisfaction. Now you elaborate the problem, be specific about it. Customers for cold chain products are raising many complaints of expired product. That's how you you specifically define a problem, right? So to give you an example, what is the problem first, right? So let me take this example. Suppose you are in a business where you supply multiple products, and within that dairy product is also there, and you have found that of late you are receiving a high number of customer complaints. Customer complaints have increased, right? And similarly, the PSAT score, or the customer satisfaction score, has decreased, right? Now the problem statement everyone knows. There is a high number of customer complaints we are facing and the P set is down. Now you have to find out, if we go back to the what is the problem exactly. So let's understand that we are receiving too many complaints. Let's take this one individually, or you can take this one also. So for this one, our first level is, let's call it L1, is we are receiving too many complaints, right? Elaborate the problem. What challenges, what are those challenges, right? Or if I elaborate, we are receiving too many complaints in suppose products which need refrigeration, and even more specifically you can say, in again in one specific region, right? Then understand what challenges again within this. So what is the problem? What exactly is the problem? So we are receiving in refrigeration, cold product chain, all those things, but what is the complaint? Complaint, let's say expired, the product is expired. By the time I receive the products, it is expired, something like this, right? So that's how you specify this problem. So instead of saying the problem is we are receiving too many customer complaint, your problem becomes now we are receiving too many customer complaints in dairy products which needs refrigeration and in a specific city or area or region, right? So let's call this final, whatever we have finalized, expired products as Y, right? I'll tell you why we are writing Y here, because it's a fundamental methodology of Six Sigma. Excuse me. Y is a function of X, right? So Y is the outcome, and our outcome here is this, right? So the expired product in a specific region, that is, now we will find out the X's, right? X are the inputs. So this is the input, this is the output. So X, Y cannot exist, right? If there is no X, Y cannot exist. So that's why we are trying to figure out X's for this, right? So because this is a yellow belt, I am not going deep into it, right? So your project now becomes this. Instead of reducing the number of complaints, your project now becomes reducing the number or percentage or volume of expired products from this to that in this region. So that's how your project changes, right? Now within this, again, let's now understand who is a stakeholder, right? Stakeholder is someone, by definition, it is someone who is impacted by the project outcome. How do I know that who is impacted and who is not impacted, right? So we'll get into this with another one. So we'll do the SIPOC and this simultaneously. Then once you know the stakeholders for our cold chain process, find out what are their needs and expectations. If you still don't understand what is need and expectations, refer to the earlier video what I prepared on CTQs and voice of the customer, right? So now let's understand SIPOC. SIPOC is nothing but supplier input, process output, customer, right? So what is a process? So SIPOC is supplier input, process output, customer, right? S stands for supplier input, process output, and customer. how do you understand this now? This is a little complicated for people who at yellow level, even yellow belt level. So how do you understand this? So let's write down SIPOC, right? So the first step in this is process, right? So the first step or the any middle step in the cold chain process would be, suppose first the supplier or the company, he receives the order from you, right? Order. Then once they receive it, they would confirm it. Now this happens online immediately, so there is not a much issue on this. Order is confirmed, then warehouse, it is shared with the respective warehouse, right? Then there is a logistics part to it, where your consignment is loaded, confirmed, and then it is dispatched. In this case, since we are dealing with retailers, so let's just call it transportation. So for the sake of time, we'll take only one example. Let's take transportation here, right? So the supplier for transportation, who is supplying this, right? Who is supplying this? Exactly. I am not saying the company who is supplying it. I am saying who is delivering it to you, right? So that can be the driver itself who is delivering to the retailer, logistics manager or team lead, whatever, even at a GM level also it can be, right? Then along with the driver, there can be a loader or picker and packer, if you know this industry, right? So these are the supplier, and what inputs this supplier are giving to this process only, right? We're talking about this process now, right? So what input, so logistics manager, what input he is giving? He is sharing all informations, right, with the drivers, correct? So if the informations are not correct, then the driver cannot deliver it. So that's what a hard copy, a mail or a SMS, anything is shared with the driver along with what is supplied. What the driver does, he drives, right? Drives, and then someone controls the temperature of the cold unit, right? And the loader also loads and during delivery unloads. These are the inputs, broad inputs given to this. If you go shoot a video and then understand, it will be more than that, but broadly these are the now what is the output? So this process, what is the output? The output is product is delivered, right? Product is delivered, and what is the other output? Quality of the product, how it is delivered, right? It can get damaged, it can get expired, what exactly is happening. Then what is the another outcome? Normally we miss out on the time when it is getting delivered. That's also, if this driver doesn't drive well, then you cannot reach in time, right? Then who is the customer here? Is the retailer. The first customer is the retailer, and second one is you, the user, right? If you are drinking a pack of milk or anything, or any custard, ice cream, anything which needs a cold chain supply, then you are the user, right? So now who are the stakeholders? If we go back for this sub process, this is a sub process, the stakeholders are first, these all are the stakeholders, right? And this is also, these are the stakeholders. Now if you would have understood my earlier video on CTQ and VOC, now you'd able to relate what is the need and expectation, and then you can find out the CTQ for each of these stakeholders, right? These all are stakeholders, right? Each of the stakeholders. So that's how you do a stakeholder analysis. So first you have to write down what is this logistic manager's requirement is, then what is the driver's requirement is, what is the loader's requirement is. You ask them personally, they will tell you what is their need, what they expect. So suppose for example the driver will tell that I need a better truck where you can give me something which can be controlled automatically. I should not go behind, open the chamber, then change the temperature, check the temperature, change the temperature if it is too low, right? So I should that kills my time also. So that's what can be a driver's need and expectations, right? So that's how you do a stakeholder analysis at a process level. So I gave you an example of what is a process. It's a sequence of steps. We already studied it in the first part of yellow belt sessions. Share an example. I already showed you an example and a broad flow chart of this simple process flow, which we rewrite it in as SIPOC, right? So what is the use? So if we go back to our earlier what I showed you, what it can answer. So unable to understand who needs what and when, that is clarified, right? Once you do a deep level understanding of this, then during diagnosis misses out on critical information. So if you go to them and ask them exactly what they need, what they do exactly, then you won't miss out on all this informations. Problem found, I told you about the second part of it, where you go from a generic statement to a specific statement, and that also we will learn how to verify all those things in next coming sessions, right? Then your problems keeps changing or adding to the list. So once you go at deep this specific level, it won't change anything. It may be a case of you don't need to work on it, it should be hold or something, but it won't change after that, right? So that's this is what we gone through, and this is how you write a SIPOC. So first you find out your process steps 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n, whatever it is, and then you add who is the supplier, what input is giving into the process, what output is coming out of that process. This is extremely important and very difficult to do. And then who is the customer who is using it. So you should be supplying as per the customer's requirement, right? So this is the same example. So if you talk about a sub process as transportation, inputs can be temperature control, driving, unload or stacking. Communication is also very critical. Then informations, and the output would be delivery and the product quality. And the customers are retailers, any other customers who is going to use it in mass, and users. So thanks for watching, guys. I have you understand this session. Any doubts, anything, please don't hesitate to comment or share with us. And next session we'll understand about the project charter.